I'll start over again. The hour has passed. It has not arrived, it has come and gone, but we're a little bit late, but I call the meeting to order. And Mr. Griffin, I want to ask you to give the invocation, please.
Let us pray. Our God and Father in heaven, we want to thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to come together to take care of our city business. Thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed upon us. Thank you for giving us safe travel to and from our meeting. And now we ask that you take and bless everything we do. Let it be in your name and how you want us to come out. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. All right, you've got the agenda before you. Pardon? Oh, yeah. Let me say. Sorry. Let's pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, there's two or three things that's been laid before us. I don't know, I'm going to ask you fellas to when we get down to mayor and commissioner comments, these little odd things that's been laid in our lap, let's not worry with the agenda. But I think it will be perfectly legal for us to handle them in our mayor and commissioner comments. Does anybody know of any reason why that wouldn't work? I think that'll be just as legal as amending the agenda now. Does, Attorney, you see any problem with that?
I don't see any problem.
See, even that reading right there is not on there. I think we better put that in the minutes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and amend.
Unless you put it into a motion, that would be a
By all
problem.
means, that
Yeah,
needs to
let's
be
go ahead
done.
and amend on that.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to, let's insert a 1A, and it be the second reading of our retirement system authorization or reauthorization. To repeat for the minutes, the City of Hazelhurst is under the Georgia Municipal Association retirement system, and periodically we have to acknowledge or ratify various things and changes pertaining to it, and we have to go through that process, and we're responsible for having a second reading tonight. And so we're going to put it as 1A with your approval. I entertain a motion that we do that.
So moved.
Mr. Johnson's moved that we insert a 1A in our agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections or any other discussions? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now then, the other thing or two, you think we need to do anything else? Or?
I think you're fine. We got this ordinance amended, so we're
Okay,
good.
that's fine. Okay, we've approved the inserting 1A. Now then, any other changes? Then I entertain a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey has moves that we approve the amended agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's carried. On item 1, council, I guess we need to, does everybody know, I didn't know, I'd forgotten the man's name was Sellers. You know where the car wash is, over there on the other side of the swings and the triangle? The car wash there. Mr. Sellers owns that. And Ms. Thompson just told me that this man is in military training.
Railroad training.
Railroad training. All right, that's worse than the military. In training with his work, and he's trying to get here to talk to us about. He is convinced that behind his car wash that we should repave when we put in that big 48-inch drainage system back in there that had to close up all that canal there for deep swings to come in. That for some reason, as we went by there, that we owe him a paved parking lot. And I'm telling you, and I said it before, and I think you overridden me, which is perfectly all right. We did him a tremendous favor already in putting that big pipe and getting all this water off of that lot. And he had holes in his parking lot to begin with. And when we put the storm drain in, we fixed it in a way that if he filled up all the holes back there and just washed out through the years, his parking lot, all that water would run right into that big drain we got. But he wants a new paved parking area back of his lot. And I think he's determined that we're gonna pay for it. Now, I've said enough. It's open for discussion.
It's hard to project when somebody is not here to be able to make real decisions upon that, but if we destroyed the parking lot, we might need to work on that, but if we didn't destroy the parking lot, he might need to work on that.
Well, the biggest thing we need to do, we need to pull the contract out where he signed the easement and what was put in the contract. That's where we need to pull back out, look at it, and then actually go down to the property and look at it.
We need to look at it.
And go from there.
I've walked every foot of it.
And right now, I mean,
1,015, oh no, I've walked it many a time and then put it in, but go ahead. Whatever y'all decide is fine with me.
well, right now, we just need to take and let, Mr. Ramey's not familiar with it at all, I don't think, really, he wasn't here when it happened. Mr. Ramey's not really familiar with it. We need to pull the contract out that was signed for the easements and everything else, and look and see what was stated in it before we do anything at this point.
Well, I think in line with that, that's good, I agree, Mr. Griffin, that's fine. But I think that, that is imperative upon you, Ms. Bennett, to pull that blooming easement and go back to that contract. I know it's kind of a headache to go back and pull all that out and see if you can see what the man signed, what his agreement was. I know what it was, but pull it out and get it so everybody can look at it, because we're gonna have to have that to make a decision on it. But I think what you're gonna have to do, the way it's been shoved around, I think about the only thing you're gonna be able to do, unless we really wanna be harsh about it, is the next time we do paving, and I think we've always said this before too, next time we do paving, contract with whoever got the paving contract, to go there and put him about 1, 2, 3, about 4 swipes of paving across his property there. But at any rate, we'll pull that contract, if you will, for us. And then, we'll wait for him to maybe come in and see what we got there. Any further discussion on this item, folks? Hearing none, let's move along. We've got a 1A, which is, something to comply with our retirement, system. Our attorney, well, this is the second reading. We gotta read it one more time?
Mm-hmm.
We've got one more time, and then they'll authorize me to sign it, correct? All right, this is the second reading. It'll, happen again next month.
That's, let's read it.
This is it. I just, what I asked you, did we have a third reading?
No, just 2.
Oh, this is the final?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. Okay, this is the final reading on the retirement system authorization.
An ordinance to amend and restate the retirement plan for the employees of the city of Hazelhurst, Georgia, in accordance with and subject to the terms and conditions set forth in the attached adoption agreement, any addendum to the adoption agreement, the Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit System, GMEBS Master Plan Document, and the GMEBS Trust Agreement. When accepted by the authorized officers of the city and GMEBS, the foregoing shall constitute a contract between the city and GMEBS, all as authorized and provided by OCGA 47-5-1, except be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Hazelhurst, Georgia. It is hereby ordained by the authority thereof. Section 1, the retirement plan for the employees of the city of Hazelhurst, Georgia is hereby amended and restated as set forth in and subject to the terms and conditions stated in the following adoption agreement, any addendum to the adoption agreement, and the Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit System Master Plan Document, and the GMEBS Trust Agreement. Section 2, except as otherwise specifically required by law or by the terms of the Master Plan or Adoption Agreement or any addendum, the rights and obligations under the plan with respect to persons whose employment with the city was terminated or who has vacated his office with the city for any reason whatsoever prior to the effective date of this ordinance are fixed and shall be governed by such plan, if any, as it existed and was in effect at the time of such termination. Section 3, the effective date of this ordinance shall be the date of approval by the governing authority. Section 4, all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are expressly repealed, approved, and by the mayor and council of the city of Hazelhurst, Georgia, the 17th day of January 2019.
All right, we're ready to adopt it now, right? I entertain a motion that we adopt the amendment to our ordinance there. It's outlined in the what you just read.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey has moved that we adopt it. the resolution, the amended resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion?
The hours or the work hours that we got there, like part-time and all, those come into that, don't it?
But they've always been in it. That's not
always
changed.
been?
No,
Okay.
that hasn't changed at all. It was just overlooked from the beginning. What he's asked there, is there a period of time we had some housekeeping people and others that were part-time that we didn't carry under the thing, and finally some of us, I forget who all it was, we were at some training, and we found out that any person that works at least half-time is entitled to retirement
Okay.
benefits. And so we went back and paid the back amount that we were supposed to pay on the lady and on the gentleman involved, and got them under the retirement
Good.
system. So we are in full compliance.
Okay.
Anything else? Motion's been made and seconded to adopt the amended ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the amended ordinance is approved. I'll put my John Henry on it and send it back up there. That's what they've asked us to do. Let's move on. Chief Watson, you've got a couple of items. You want to discuss our ISO grading, and I know you've got it dropped down about 2 points. I wish it were. And also the recognition at the Capitol coming up.
Yes, sir. Just want to give you an update on the ISO grading. In 2014, we had an ISO grading. The city and county was graded together in 2014. They will be back this year, probably in the fall of this year, to regrade the city and regrade the county together again. What I want to talk to you about tonight is an issue that we have that's going to create a problem for us, and that is our fire hydrant situation. For many years, we've had problems with fire hydrants. We've had lists, some of them get fixed, some of them don't get fixed. I think the list that we give last year, the 18 list, was something like 74 hydrants that were either non-functionable or were partially functionable. And what I mean by partially functionable is if we had a cheetah bar and 5 firefighters, we probably could get it open. So I think Carl and them have worked on the ones they can. We're at about 60 hydrants that are 63. Yeah, we can't get repaired that need replacing.
They range from 1948 to 2016, 15, I think, you know, when we put some new ones in, but them real old ones, we can't even get parts for them.
And the problem I have is the data that's going to be required by ISO for these hydrants. I'm not going to have it because they're non-functionable. So what that does is, and when ISO comes in and grades us, they grade 10 points to 911 is the most they can get, 40 points to the water department, and 50 for the fire department. So in what they call a diversion, there's nothing taken away for 911, but the difference between the water and the fire, you can have a good water department and a bad fire department, and it hurts. They equal out, so they pull points away from you. So if the fire department grades out good and the water department doesn't because of hydrants, we're going to lose points.
Right.
So I'm just letting you know what's going to happen before it does happen, because like I said, we do not have the data that ISO is going to require, because they're going to require certain hydrants and spot the hydrants, and there's some of them we're not going to have the information. So,
Gentlemen, I can tell you this, that, and you'll correct me now, this is some old figures that I had on it. What you're telling me in fire hydrants alone, we need to buy $120,000 worth of fire hydrants. And when you take and buy the more than that,
$500,000.
yeah, but you know with installation and everything. Well, I hadn't got to that. But I think, I'm hoping that we're gonna put them in ourselves, or we're gonna contract it, if we do it, and when we do it.
I've been checking, there's some grants there we can get.
Well, I thought he's a specialist in that now, with it being fire thing. Do you ever,
now that's a totally, I don't deal with anything to do with water department grants.
We
So-
can get a grant to replace them that will cost us about $1,300 a month to pay it back.
Is it a grant?
63, that's actually replacing the hydrants, putting on valves where they need valves at the hydrants, and probably replacing, some of them probably gonna have to have some pipe replaced to them. But it averaged out about $1,400 a month payback.
Yeah, but $1,304, for how long a period of time, what you talking about?
5 years. 10 years, I'm sorry, 10 years.
We need to,
That will get them
Yeah,
all.
but USDA's got some money out there it's 100% grant.
It's 100%
It don't
grant.
cost us nothing.
we've shuffled this thing around for a long, long time. And, so we better really get, real serious about, finding out exactly how many we got replaced. And then even if we don't, contract it out, if we try to do it, piecemeal, can't you look at your staff over a period of, say, a year's time, probably get them changed?
No.
It probably take a little longer than that.
Yeah.
Because there's some of them you're gonna have, the problem is getting the water cut off to them. I mean, you got a bunch of valves that's covered up, you got a bunch of valves that probably ain't working in the system, and you're gonna have to put insert valves in to be able to not interrupt the services to the customer to be able to change them out.
Your ISO people are coming here when?
Probably in the fall. I serve on a committee with the lady that actually is gonna do our grading. And she told me, recently, she said, you're not on the radar. They do a 3-month radar. She said, you're not on the radar, but you will be. And last time we were in the fall. So I'm thinking it's gonna be the fall.
Ain't no way in the world we can do
No,
it.
not all of them.
Let me ask you a question. Now, if we are in the process of getting this money approved for grant money or whatever else, or whatever we had to do to get it done, if we have this in the process and it's to the point of being approved at that point, would that kill us still on the ISO rating, even if we were in the process of getting it
I
completed?
think if we could show a plan, she might be courteous that we're
That's
doing
where-
something and we have a plan to replace them.
Carl and I have talked, and we've done some figuring and whatever else, and like I said, as far as taking and getting it done, the $1,300 a month, and I know 10 years sounds like a long time to pay it back and whatever else, but I said there's also some USDA grant money out there. Now, we've already talked to Chad from Hofstadter. We talked to him, well, as a matter of fact, Tuesday when we were going up to Atlanta, we talked to him about some of that too. And he said there is grant money out there for that particular projects and everything. But now it's,
Well, I've talked to some other fire chiefs about the issues they have with this, and there are some cities out there that put $1 or $2 on a water bill, and it's dedicated nothing but hydrant to keep hydrant systems up.
right,
So I'm not advocating that to y'all. I'm just that's an option.
right.
There is an option out there that could help you with that.
Okay.
I think if we, when we get involved, it's going, we've waited late to, meet the requirements for this ISO, examination when they come. But I think if we sit down and study about this thing correctly, and if we publicize it in the paper, let Mary Ann and Tommy down at the newspaper, let the citizens know that, the fire hydrants are old, they're inoperable, they're dangerous to the community, and that the council is considering increasing the water bills by, say, $1, that $1, I think the citizens, they are to buy that. $1, they said, we'll all pitch in that $1 and try to get them replaced. I think that might fly, but the best thing for us to try to do is to see if we can find some grant money. Well, we appreciate you bringing this information. It's a little late, but at any rate, Carl, stay on top of it. Let's keep pushing it and try to come up with the right solution. What's your other item?
Every year we have a firefighter recognition day, which it'll be the first Tuesday in February. We'll be there Monday, Tuesday, and come back on Wednesday. And what we've done in the past, last year and this year, we've got a large contingency of, I call it large, when you got 6 firefighters wanting to go, that's good, because I encourage these guys to go to the Capitol, go to these things, because they need to. And we've kind of incurred the cost over the years for rooms. So what I've asked is the fire department we're gonna need 3 rooms. The fire department will pay for a room, the city pay for a room, the county pay for a room. The county's already committed to pay for one of the rooms for 2 nights. And I'm asking for the city to do the same thing.
And that's gonna occur before our February meeting, so
Yes,
it needs
sir.
to be handled now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are your rooms, probably around $200 a night?
It'll be less than $300 for 2 nights, around 300.
For the 2 nights that you need there?
Yes, sir.
Council, I entertain a motion that we approve the firefighters lodging up to, you say up to
Around
$300.
$300, yeah.
Up to $300 in February for them to make this trip. Yeah, can I get that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Griffin's made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Johnson has seconded. Any further discussion? You're not a call for the vote, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? You've got that part of it.
Thank you.
If you could find out how to handle those fire hydrants that well, we'd be tickled to death.
Let's take $1, on the, that might be the best thing to do, put $1 on the water bill, and then you have it pretty much forever.
Let's get the other money before we put it on.
Well,
Please.
but you'll have a maintenance money down the road.
Okay, let's.
That's the other thing about it.
Yeah, that's right. Even if we get the full grant to do this replacing that we need to do, and Mr. Leggett's already stuck, I said, I was just getting to the fire hydrants themselves, and I knew it was gonna double that to get them installed, and he says it's even more than that, and I don't doubt it. But once we get that done, see, this dollar then could be designated, and that dollar with 2,000 water patrons a month, that from then on, we won't get in this mess.
And the thing about it is too, is even at that point right there, you can use it for the maintenance, you can use it to replace if needed and whatever else. So, I mean, we've taken,
So we might ought to put the whole bundle together, try to do the whole thing. All right, we know where we are, we've always got problems, they'll never cease to be. Now then, we're gonna skip this next one, it's about Carl's wanting a backhoe, number 4, we're just gonna, you know, we're not gonna skip it. I'd like to, that when you hear what,
As I discussed with y'all Monday, the water department's in bad need of a piece of equipment. That mini excavator that we got now is, matter of fact, the next day, Tuesday, it took them to about 2:30 that afternoon, 3 o'clock to get it where they could finish doing what they were doing to install a sewer line. That's what kind of shape we in. Like I told y'all Monday, I got prices on a new one. My suggestion is we lease it. At the end of the 5 year, we turn it in and get a new one. The lease payments are $14,364.01 a month. I mean a year. And the payment don't start till next year, January next year.
you scared me there. I said, you can't have it, I'm just gonna.
I'm asking for a vote to be able to purchase this item.
let me ask you this, our big excavator,
Yes,
how
sir.
much a year?
The big excavator is $18,980.
Last
Yeah.
time. All right, now, we had another piece of equipment leased,
The street backhoe, street department backhoe. That's the newest backhoe you got.
okay, but now we're still under that lease.
Yes, sir.
And how much is that annual payment?
I think it's like,
15?
15. Yes.
Somewhere, I believe. So we've got a backhoe at $15,000 a year, we've got an excavator at $18,000, and now we fixed to put on a third, little, track hoe for $14,000.
Yes, sir.
But
now you know the backhoe that the water department's got, water and sewer department's got is paid for.
yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
But just the same, I think the one we're paying the lease on now, I think, according to experts that talk to me, this lease arrangement and them doing all the repairs and everything,
Yes.
all we do is put fuel in it and whatnot.
Fuel and
I think
change oil.
These are constant, ongoing obligations.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
we
sir.
fixed to add another $14,000.
We also get a freight trailer with it.
We
too.
get a brand new trailer, to haul it on, and like the mayor said, the warranty on it is for the whole 5 years. So if anything tears up on it, they fix it, don't cost the city a dime. The only thing we do is change the oil in it, put fuel in it. We have to send the oil samples off to Caterpillar, just so that it covers the warranty part of it. That's it.
And I did, as I told you Monday night, I tried to see if I couldn't better it, and we have not been successful at all. So,
One question, Carl.
Yes, sir.
The big excavator, I'll call them all tractors,
Right.
that, when we get into, let's see how I can say this thing now. Smaller jobs, that is too big for smaller
Yes, sir.
jobs that you got. Will this backhoe, 'cause you know, the cutting of the streets and all?
Right.
Will that help us to stop cutting, my question is, will that help us not tear the roads up as much as we do?
The bad thing about getting water leaks and stuff under the road
Mhm.
is the water leak's gonna go to the weakest point, and it might be coming up here, but the leak might be down here, so that ain't gonna stop it from the tearing of the road up.
Okay.
yeah, but putting
That's
that
gonna-
little
Be a little
machine
smaller.
on that job.
It's
will
better
keep
than
them
that
tearing
big
it
one,
up.
that's right, yeah.
The reason I was asking, 'cause you know, we got into it one time where they was only supposed to cut and then put those patches back in.
Right,
That's the only reason I was asking.
yes, sir.
You've got.
No problem.
You've got such a much lighter machine,
Mhm.
and also it's a rubberized track.
It's rubberized tracks where that big and steel track,
Steel
so,
track, and see, it's a rubberized track for use on the street, and,
What's a rubberized track?
Like a rubber tire on the tracks.
instead of,
instead of steel tracks,
about that thick of thing of rubber that it rolls on. And-
Sweet Jesus.
Gentlemen, you've heard the thing, as long as you keep beating the
No.
dead. What, I'm open for a motion.
I make a motion, we authorize Carl Leggett to take and go ahead and let's get this approved so we can continue to march with our jobs and what we're doing.
I think what Mr. Griffin said was, that he makes a motion to enter into a lease contract with Yancey Brothers on a Cat, mini tractor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion?
The only thing I wanna know is, are all these payments now coming at the same time?
I don't know.
The reason I'm asking, because you know, at certain times of year, when the money come in, will we be able to do those obligations at that
The
time?
man's got an excellent voice.
he does, and yes, sir,
And you know-
there's a big gap in between them. Like I say, this one won't start till January. Right. The
But
big track hoe, I think it's due in September, but they pay, now y'all pay for that now to SPOS. That lease on that one out of SPOS.
It is in our SPOS
Yes, sir.
contract?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay.
Well, that's, by the way.
So that's where I got this figure up out of SPOS the other day.
All right, well, now, let me tell you what I do want to do with them when we get ready to sign this contract. I know when the ebbs and flows of this revenue is.
Right.
And I know when we got a better chance of having it, so be sure that I get the
Oh,
opportunity.
yes, sir, you be the one signing this agreement.
Well, I do, but I also want to know when the paper's gonna come due too. All right, okay, any further discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor of purchasing this piece of equipment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Take care of it. All right. Ms. Lopez, explain this JD Forward Leadership Academy information
Okay,
one more time.
Yes, sir. This is the Jeff Davis Forward Leadership Academy, which begins in January, going through August. They are wanting to know if the city has an employee that would have time off to participate in this program. It is $500 to send someone to the academy, and it has to be an employee of the city. Basically, it's going to expand, excuse me, I am so sorry, expand your leadership capacity through immersion into the realities and opportunities of our community, collaborate with the top community leaders and organizations, develop deep relationships with a network of diverse colleagues, gain valuable insight into the most challenging issues facing our community, and ignite change in our community. That's the reason for the Leadership Academy.
And the first one is next Thursday, correct?
January the 24th is the team building kickoff.
All right, have they given a time?
It is one day a month from 9 until 5 each day from January until August.
That is the kickoff, is that just for the local people to get together, see who signed up, or is this actually the first class?
That is, I believe it's actually the first class from what I understand.
First
Mayor.
class.
That's the first class in here this month?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cody, you one of our youngest and brightest ones with a long future ahead of you with the city of Hazlehurst. Would you like to participate in this program? When it comes to young leaders, I think you fit that track as well as anybody does.
Can I get back with you on it?
You ain't got long, son. Look, get with Miss Bernice, and then talk to Andrea Taylor. And when does it kick off now, honey, again? One more time.
Next Thursday night, January the 20th.
You got 1 week.
Next
Well-
Thursday morning, excuse me.
Next Thursday morning. Why don't you look at it, son, at your age and whatnot, and I'll tell you what now, it will, I was wrong about this thing initially, and the more I learn about it, I thought they wanted some real youngsters, young, just out of high school or something like that into it. But this is a little bit more, as I begin to learn more about it, this is a little bit more depth in training. You're gonna be sitting in class with some pretty sharp people from different places. And I actually believe, and, of course, I'm kinda, I think you would get a lot out of it. I think it'd be very good for you, and would be, an investment in the future of the city. You got a lot of time here. And, so I'm suggesting you look into it. You folks have any problem with that?
I don't have a problem at all. I think you'd be a good representative for us and everything.
I do too. I think that would be real good. Okay, we'll proceed, and, okay, let me ask you this. I entertain a motion that if we have an employee, in case Cody backs out, if we have an employee that we think could benefit from this, that wants to devote the time, that we authorize their tuition on, we're talking about $500 and the time required to do it.
1 day a month.
Yeah, would one of y'all make me a motion to that effect?
Make a motion that we authorize the $500 if we have someone interested to go to the J.D. Ford classes and everything.
And authorize the time.
And authorize the time for them to go.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? All right, see if you, all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Cody, look into it, buddy, and, we may have a good applicant.
Yes, sir.
All right, the, clerk's training,
District clerk.
yeah. You wanna explain that to us?
This is probably the only time that I would actually get to attend an international clerks training. It's going to be in Brazelton, Georgia, at Chateau Alon for February the 20th through the 22nd. This is for the district clerks and the finance officers, and, of course, I've been invited to attend, and I would like to have this opportunity because most of your international, clerks trainings are like in Spain, Canada, and elsewhere. I don't think that the city would be able to afford that type thing. So this is only in North Georgia, and I would like to have that opportunity to attend that, please.
Have you got an estimated budget on what this is?
No more than $500.
You could stay up there at that place for $500.
I'm afraid so.
They said you could.
Yeah, I can. I've already checked into it.
They said you can.
I
Okay.
promise.
So we're talking about less than $1,000 expense.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I entertain a motion that we approve the, district clerk training in Brazelton, Georgia for Ms. Bernice.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Clerk, Madam Clerk, you're on your way to Brazelton in
Thank you,
February.
gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, I entertain a motion that we approve the water and sewer adjustments and the report to council on the readings and the numbers, and also the check register.
Offer motion.
Mr. Johnson made the motion that we approve items 7, 8, and 9. Which is what I've just said. I've got a motion by Mr. Johnson, and a second by Mr. Ramey. Any discussion or any questions about any of these? We've had them in our folder now for several days. Hearing none, I call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's carried. Anybody in the audience that's got a thing or two to say, or wants to say something? We're delighted to have everybody here. Okay, no citizen comments. Okay, Mayor and Commissioner, y'all lead the way.
Again, I just wanted on the record that how much, I told you all at workshop, the city, county, everybody participated in the MLK festivities, and they really put the program over. The young people enjoyed it, and I will always remember it, and thank you all so much. That was from the sheriff, the police, the hospital, everybody, and the city, and our mayor, and our council. Even though the young people were really impressed with the sheriff, but the mayor, they say, we meet him all the time. And everybody talk, but that, guys, y'all, seriously, being serious, you all really, the kids was really impressed when they see the elected officials. I think we'd have done better, couldn't have done any better if we'd have been the senators and presidents and all. They was impressed.
Very good, thank you.
All right.
Randy, you want to come down the line there? You got any comments?
I just echo what Mr. Dwayne had to say there. I was very impressed with the program, and appreciate the invitation to go.
Thank you.
Madam Attorney, you want to say anything?
No, I'm good for now. Hey,
Clerk?
I just appreciate everything that you all do to support me and everything that I do as city clerk, and more so as a special friend, and y'all just support me in a lot of ways. I appreciate that so much.
Mr. Griffin?
And I just want to echo what Mr. Johnson said, appreciate the invitation. It
Thank
was
you.
a good time and a good presentation, and I'm going to put this out there again. If it wasn't for you, the place wouldn't be where it is
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. And I'm sure to point that out and everything.
With the support that y'all give me, trust me.
Support is good, but like I said, without your dedication, it wouldn't be where it is.
Absolutely. That
It
is
was
so right.
outstanding.
Okay, I've got one little small item that is been a little, we've had a little problem with it, but I have done a lot of research. And we got a little problem. We exceeded our budget over at the Dr. Johnson building by a little bit. We thought we were going to try to get in to do the repairs for $25,000, and it's going to run $6,000 to $7,000 or so above that. I found some money. I've checked with the Splosh people in Atlanta and the attorneys with the GMA. And back some years ago, we voted in a Splosh, and it stated on the ballot, and you can go back and research it, back in 2014, I believe it is, I'm not sure about that date. Repair of city offices is the way it was. Repair of city offices. It didn't say repair of the chief's office. It didn't say repair of the city. It said repair of city offices, and that with that and I think, by the way, too, when this thing was passed, we were still in the old office. I think that y'all had made the decision to come down here at that time, or were thinking about it and getting that work. But at any rate, I have scrutinized it real well for you. You're welcome to just wait on it or whatever. But we're going to need to pay some bills in a few days, and that's been sitting there for a number of years after we completed this repair. And I would like to entertain a motion that y'all authorize us to transfer that money to the city office repair over the Johnson building. Now, I know Ms. Vernice has spent a little money around with general maintenance and so forth of this building. I'm sorry to tell you, but they told me that was little doormat things we did and some other things was illegal. I said, well, don't tell anybody. But at any rate, it does fit the bill. It was for repair of city offices, and we need the money now to finish that project over there. And I'd appreciate a motion to allow us to, Ms. Denise and I, to transfer this money so that we need to reimburse ourselves because we used our city employees, our own people on our payroll, some over there, and that needs to be put back in that account as well. And quite frankly, I think probably since the amount of money is about $4,000 of work from city employees was put over there, and this is about $4,000, I think probably we ought to make sure that we use this money to repay that fund, but we got to pay all the bills over there. But at any rate, you've heard enough about that. What do you all think about it?
Go ahead. If this is legit that we can use this amount, it looks like it runs to about half of the 7,000 that you're saying that we would need for our over expenditure on the Johnson building. If I could be in favor if our attorney checks this out and make sure we're legal. I don't want to get caught with the britches down here, making sure that we are correct. And by the way, your comment about don't tell anybody, you just told the world a while ago.
I knew that when I said it. You're perfectly welcome to follow through the same exercise I did. If you find out something different what I did, let us know. Considering the confirmation of the attorney that the facts that I've stated is confirmed by the attorney, do y'all, can I entertain a motion that we do that?
I didn't make a motion.
Oh, no, I thought you made.
No, he didn't.
Well, I make a motion.
He said that he said he didn't trust what I did, that he wants somebody else to look at it. That's what he said.
I make a motion. I make a motion on the premises that...
Mr. Johnson made a motion that we do just what I asked upon confirmation of the city
attorney. Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's look into that, because we're gonna need that money right away. All right, other than that, I think everything is, pardon?
Let me speak, Hagan.
What?
Let me speak, Hagan.
Yeah.
I can tell you about the giggle.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you go to pass your opportunity.
I know I have, but you brought something up that I'm got a question on.
All right.
Splosh, is that a tax splosh?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe you can.
I already been through it. That's what, I went through the attorneys, GMA people, I've been through everybody.
It's a tax splosh and you've already,
Fulfilled the
Went
service.
over it.
you've already, thank you, because if you've already fulfilled your duty with that tax splosh and there's money left over, you can put it back in the general fund. Is that, am I not right?
Not according to what they told me.
You can't do that.
No.
And even when he called me back the last time and said, Mayor, the word is yes, go. You can, in fact, I saw him while I was in Atlanta this week. I think I can tell you what you're talking about, Ron, in just a minute there. He said, had it not stated renovation of city offices, renovation of city offices, that was the triggering thing that made it possible. Now, any excess funds over and beyond what the citizens vote on,
You're right, you're right.
thank you, dear.
You're right.
I fell off a turnip truck, but it wasn't yesterday.
Excess funds, you're correct. It's been a long time since I've been to splosh,
Then you can do that, right. And also, let me tell you why we're talking about it. Of course, we've had a kissing contest among ourselves and the county commissioners lately. It's discretionary with county commissioners, so it can be put back in the general fund, but it's also discretionary with county commissioners. And Mr. Wasden tell you as much about that property as I can, because he was involved. The county commissioners are the ones who's actually authorized to levy this lot. Yeah, I mean, I've already exercised, but, and you go all through the same blooming thing again, madam. Satisfy Mr. Ramey, will you?
You're welcome.
All right, we've got that, we did vote on it, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
We did we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Motion to
Okay,
leave it in
it's
all in
done.
favor.
Okay, but we, thank you, honey.
Conflicts, yeah.
Anything else?
He's in it. He's in it.
So moved.
Motion made to say we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Ah.
Thank y'all for being here. Amy?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Carl,
We going up